Tuesday afternoon. I am Kim Kesti, Creative Director here at Fun Stampers Journey and Spellbinders. So happy to be back. I feel like we've missed one or two of our Tuesday afternoon get-togethers here, so I'm very happy to be back. We've got Roy back in the studio. Maybe he can give himself a little, hey, Roy. It's like, yay, all right. He's back from vacation. Happy to be here, yay. And yes, we've had a wonderful holiday weekend, and we're ready to do some crafting. Are you guys ready? All right, I have a really fun technique. It's really pretty simple, but I think you'll enjoy it, and it's going to be perfect for so many different of your stamps that you have that are big greetings. This is kind of a technique that's perfect for that type of thing. So let's take a look at, in particular, this stamp that has a really beautiful big greeting. I love it. It's called Trust the Timing. Let me kind of pick it up here so it doesn't have too much glare. And it is one giant gorgeous sentiment stamp. Absolutely love it. So this technique I'm going to share with you is actually perfect for anything that's got a big sentiment like this. Or any image where you're going to have the main focal point in the center of your paper. So I've got a piece of whipped cream cardstock here, and I'm going to play with some liquid color. We had a couple of requests for people to play or to have a few more demos on what to do, different ways to use liquid color and whatnot. So I thought I would play with that. And I want to apologize ahead of time because two things today. One, I have a little boo-boo on my thumb. I have a little cut there, so ignore the Band-Aid. But secondly, I was just laughing with Roy because just before I came in, I was like drinking water, trying to get hydrated. And then you know how that thing happens where like water goes down the wrong way and then pretty soon you're choking, and that's about the time when my teenage son would be, oh, nice. First time you ever drank water, Mom? You know, I'm like, come on, I don't need any comments right now. So what I'm doing is I'm putting two little puddles of liquid color on. I'm going to start with the lighter of the two colors. Did I share the colors with you? Hopefully I did. Sweet Pear and Cool Pool. So these are two of my favorite colors. And they feel like nice, cool, summery colors too. I love that. So I put Sweet Pear here and Cool Pool. I'm going to kind of use them separately, but they can easily fit on the same block. And then what I have here is our square paintbrush. So it's just our standard square paintbrush. And you can tell that this one I had done some inking techniques earlier, and although I did clean it off, it got a tiny bit stained on the end, but it's okay. It doesn't affect the wear. These paintbrushes are awesome. And I've also got just a little cup of water here. I'm going to very lightly wet my paintbrush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the lighter of the two colors. Now this is going to be a great technique. You can use any combination of colors. You can use two pinks or a pink and a red or two yellows, yellow and orange, anything that kind of has that complementary tone. So in this case, they're kind of like two shades of blue-green. So Sweet Pear. I'm going to kind of use my grid paper too as just a little test swatch. And I can see that I'm getting some nice brush stroking. So I'm going to come in off the edge of the page and just come in and pull in some really sweet brush strokes in from the outside of my cardstock. So starting even off the paper and just pulling in some nice pretty brush strokes. And I can go over it once or twice. When I get to the corner, I can kind of come in and come at a little bit more of an angle there. That's fun. And really what I'm doing is I'm lifting the paintbrush as I drag it along. So I come in heavier and then lift. So again, we're getting this fun little streaky. In fact, this is probably even prettier than where I started over here. Of course, every time you do it, it's going to be a little bit different. I do want to make sure I get these streaks long enough because I'm going to come back with a second color, and that'll be the Cool Pool in just a minute here. So again, just on your paper and then lift and pull. So even if you're not a fabulous painter or watercolor artist or anything, which I do not consider myself to be, this is really a technique that I think anyone can try and have good success at. So I kind of look at it and decide, okay, do I have some good coverage there? Feels like I didn't miss any spots. It's looking fun. I love how the color just kind of fades toward the middle. Now this is why I have my little water cup here. I'll just rinse my brush with a little bit of water. I even have some paper towel I can dab it on. And then I'm going to come in with my Cool Pool. And I'm going to come over the same panel. I'm just going to do my strokes just a little bit shorter. So I'm just going to come in because I still want to have some of that Sweet Pear showing through. So light and short and quick. The second row goes a little bit quicker because you're not worrying about quite as much coverage. Just cruising all the way around the edge. I love how the second color just really increases the drama. And I think it's fun too to have the lighter color on the outside, or the bottom layer I should say, and then the darker color just coming around the outer edge. So pretty fun, right? I kind of like how it looks. It's kind of got that sort of a quasi starburst type of a look. And of course, before you do your stamping, you're going to want to let this dry really well. I'm going to keep these colors on my block because I'm going to come back with them in a minute. So don't clean your colors off, save those. So if this is in the perfect world, I could dry this or use the heat gun to dry it or whatever, but I do have a panel here that I did earlier, and it's pretty similar, but again, you can kind of see how every time you do it, it turns out a little bit different. So this is what I did earlier. So this one's perfectly dry. So I'm going to set this card panel aside to let it dry all the way. In fact, I might even whisk this away. Use this for my next project. But you do want to make sure your card panel is dry when you come back to do your stamping. So now I have my Trust the Timing stamp on my clear block here. And I'm just going to use good old black licorice ink. I think it's going to be a nice contrast. It's going to really stand out nicely. And I want it to be a nice dark stamp, so I'm loading up quite a bit of ink on here. And one thing I like to do, which I don't know if it really makes a difference, but in my mind it does. I do a little test stamp, so this is kind of a little tip for you. I'm just stamping it here, and I feel like it just kind of helps load all the ink up on my rubber, my red rubber here. And now, since I've got it already with one impression, when I load up the ink, it seems like, to me anyway, that it just comes a little bit darker that second time you stamp. Does that make sense? Am I crazy, or does that work for anyone else? It's almost like doing a practice stamp. So now I'm going to come back in with this guy, and I'm aiming to go generally right in the center of my fun little starburst I have here. So hopefully that's pretty much in the center. Ooh, I saw a comment pop up with somebody saying that it works for them. Or was it just a oh so pretty comment?
That was an oh so pretty comment from Lisa.
Oh, nice.
Bright and cheerful blended colors.
Well, hopefully this is going to be something that you guys are going to want to take off and try different color combinations. I can't wait to see what combinations you come up with.
Carol also thinks her Band-Aid is cute.
Oh, yeah, can you tell I have an 11-year-old daughter? I've got like a princess Band-Aid or something. I'm not sure what's going on there. That's funny. Okay, so now I've got my stamp in here. I love how it turns out, just really high contrast. Gorgeous stamp, though. You get that great impression with that, of course, beautiful red rubber that we have. So now I thought, you know what, I'll come in and I'll just accent some of these little flourishes in here, because you know what, I have leftover color right here, liquid color on my palette. So what I'm doing is I'm taking, this happens to be a small blending brush, so it's got a really nice fine tip. So I'm just going to take some of my liquid color, and I'm actually going to even blend the two colors together right now. Just kind of come up with that sort of blended color like Carol was just saying together. And now I can use this to accent a few different little spots of my stamp. So this is just kind of a really casual, light coloring here. Now I might take a little bit more Cool Pool. And I thought, look at these pretty swirls. Wouldn't it be fun to kind of give a little shadow type look on these? So you can see I'm just coming in with maybe on one side of the lettering. Come in here.
You are also not the only one who does a test stamp. Lou does it.
Oh, good. I'm not crazy. Sometimes you're like, I just want to make sure it's inked up perfectly. So now when I'm doing these accents, I can pull any of these shades of colors. I can either pull the Sweet Pear or the Cool Pool or the little part I mixed right in the middle. So now it's just about accenting some of the leaves. Again, a few of the letters. I'm not trying to color the whole thing in. I'm just kind of coming in with, you know, a fun little accent of color. And when you have this really fine brush, it's super easy just to kind of give some of your letters some little pops of color, I guess I'll say. And the of yours, pretty right here. Let's see, what do we think? Maybe a little bit more here. Sometimes you gotta kind of step back and look and go, okay, I think I like it. It's looking really fun. So we've just changed what really was a fairly plain stamp, even though this has a lot of flourishes, of course, but you know, fairly plain stamp, and really just accented it with a few little drips and drabs of color, and of course combined with that outside border. Gorgeous, super fun. Okay, so now what I could do to really finish it off, and I won't take all the time to do it, but I would take some Journey Glaze, and I would just come in and, you know, trace a little bit of just the block part of the lettering. And what I did for the finished card was then I sprinkled a little bit of our sparkle cuts on it. And then, of course, because our cardstock and all of our colors coordinate so beautifully, I took a sweet pear cardstock, and that's what I used for my little mat for my card here. And then mounted it on a black card base, and let's take a look at the finished card. So check it out. And can I just tell you that, look at that Journey Glaze. Does that not just take it to the next level? I knew that it would take a long time to dry, so I thought, you know what, we'll just bring this little guy in and nice close up. And I did not put a ton of sparkle cuts, just the barest little sprinkle of them on there, because the Journey Glaze really does most of your work for you. But the sparkle cuts, I think, are, you know, add a little fun glitter, right? So super cute with the black card base on here. And then I did just want to share one other card that our designer, Miss Laura, did using this same stamp, just to kind of show you a totally different way. We did have some of our designers use this Trust the Timing, ATS, by the way, is what we call our small little stamps here, on our Hello Summer launch party, which, by the way, you can still view. Check out our YouTube page, and you just look for Hello Summer, and you'll see our 4-hour launch party we had a couple weeks ago. It was so fun. But you did see some designers using this stamp in a lot of different ways. So I thought, I'll kind of build up on that. That's what kind of gave me the idea to use the stamp for today's tools, tips, and techniques. But here's one that Laura did, and I think she was inspired by the shaving cream technique. So we've kind of got a really fun shaving cream technique in the background, and then she just did the white embossing powder for the sentiments. You can see like how dramatically different those two cards are. Same exact stamp, two just totally different looks. So I love that. Super fun. Everything's super fun today. I've been saying that sometimes. I'm like, I gotta think of new words to say. But irregardless, I am having a great time getting back to crafting and getting geared up for all of our videos that come to you. We will be back again on Friday, where we come to you with Try-Day Friday. So definitely hang around and stay tuned for that. If you're watching us on YouTube, please consider liking our videos, sharing it, or even subscribing. Then you'll be sure not to miss a thing. So again, have a great day. Thanks for sharing a few moments with me on T3 today. And as always, I hope you enjoy bringing paper to life.